Hi BookTube, my name is Juan. I am just one reader coming to you with my Christmas morning special of Friday Reads video. It's going to be my last Friday Reads video of 2020. And I think next year I am not going to do Friday Reads videos anymore. I think I'm just going to stick to doing wrap-ups or periodical updates or some sort of I need to think about it, but I'm probably going to do like recent reads or monthly wrap-ups. I haven't really thought about it yet, but I'm not going to do Friday Reads videos every week just because I feel like that format doesn't quite fit my reading anymore. But I need to think about it. But I'm still gonna be here updating my reading pretty frequently. So this is a very exciting video because it's the last sort of reading update of my 2020. So the two books that I finished reading this week are Maurice by E.M. Forster and The Icobog by J.K. Rowling. So let's talk very quickly about them. Maurice by E.M. Forster was a satisfying read, but it's not a book that lived up to its potential in my very personal opinion. A lot of people put this in a pedestal because it's a book about the gay experience and homosexuality in a very interesting context and historical period. This takes place in the elegant Edwardian world of Cambridge. And it's a campus novel, it's a coming-of-age novel, it's a story of a person's life, it's a love story in a way, and in a way, this novel on paper has a lot of the ingredients that I really enjoy in my reading. However, I found something that has happened to me quite often this year happened with this book as well. The first half of the book was wonderful. The second half really let me down. It became quite boring for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's because the first half of the book or the first portion of the book really focuses more on childhood and, you know, the early experiences of this man, and we can really get to understand his homosexuality and the dynamics and the origins and the complexities of it, the nuances. I found that to be absolutely wonderful. The second half of the book, when he's a grown man, we get to see another part of his life that I just didn't find quite as interesting. So in the end, I gave the book 3 stars. Also, I wasn't a big fan of the writing style. There was something there that just kept me a little bit at a distance. And yeah, it's a weird novel. I gave it 3 stars because I really loved the first half, but the second half was just quite not for me. So I enjoyed it. I would recommend it to many readers, many people that I know. I think it's an important book, it's an important topic, it's an important discussion, but I think I prefer some other novels that do similar things. For example, the growing up and the campus thing. I think Stoner by John Williams is a much better, much better, highly superior example of those things. And when it comes to homosexuality, I think there are many books that treat the subject as well, and so yeah, it's interesting, it's good, but it's not the best. And then the other book that I read was The Icobog by J.K. Rowling, and this was just brilliant. This was really brilliant. It's a fairy tale, it's for children, so you can't really judge it as a novel or as an adult thing. You have to judge it for what it is. And I think that for what it is and what it's trying to do, it is very, very good, very successful. It's the kind of fairy tale that I think we need children to read, and we need to tell these stories to children. It's a dark fairy tale. People die, people are incarcerated, people are, you know, they have their human rights violated, they fight, they rebel. It's a book about very current issues, but also universal issues. I think it works really well as a fairy tale. Good fairy tales always speak to unconscious fantasies that children have, very much about the Oedipus complex and some other issues that are a part of childhood universally. So that's why a good fairy tale, like all of the classic fairy tales that we all know, or the Disney adaptations of those fairy tales, they always deal with very similar issues, and those are the developmental issues of childhood, the Oedipus complex, what it means to grow up, and so this fairy tale does that, but it also does some other interesting things as well. There's a lot of talk here about government and control and politics and free speech and human rights, and it's such an interesting, complex little fairy tale. It's very, very fun to read and very charming and delightful. It's very easy to read, and I think children will really benefit from reading something like this. It's just a decent story with really good lessons, and I wish I could read this to some people, or give this to some people, because I think this is the kind of fairy tale that we want to tell future generations. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It was really, really good. And the book that I am reading currently, and will be reading until the end of the year probably, is Assassin's Quest, which is book 3 in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. This book is like 850 pages long, so it will probably take me a week to finish this at least. And I really want to finish this trilogy before the year is out, just because I want to include the entire trilogy in my top 10 books of the year, because I think it totally deserves to be there, and I need to finish the 3rd book to include the trilogy as a whole. So that's what I will be reading the next week, which is the last week of the year. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me, what are you reading? What have you read recently? And I will see you probably sometime next week with my top 10 books of the year fiction, which is probably the most anticipated video that I make every year, the one that I enjoy the most, the one that is the best video to watch and to make. Thanks for watching. I'm Just One Reader. I'll see you next week.